Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you might have noticed, the background has changed a little bit. These are my friends, beautiful crystals, and I was like, I have to find a way to record videos in front of them because they're just so beautiful. So I'm so happy that they can be a part of my recordings. Today I'm going to be talking about why persistence is so important, and I feel like you could think just off the top of your head that, oh, well, if you keep at anything long enough, of course you'll find success, or you'll find, the answer that you didn't realize you were seeking, right? But I think that we're really in the midst of wanting and desiring sorry, my dog's distracting me. When we're really in the midst of wanting and desiring our manifestation, whatever it is, we can lose sight of that, right? Because all we know is that it's not happening and we've got to do something to fix it. Oh my goodness. Hi, buddy. He snuck up on me so fast. Here, come here. Okay, so when we are wanting something, right, and we're really stuck in that desire, you've probably heard and seen coaches talking about how persistence is so important. And here I am about to say the same thing, and I'm going to share with you, as always, my own personal experiences, because I'm a very impatient person by nature. Maybe you could argue that everybody is, and that it's, life's lessons that change that. And I have developed a lot of patience over the past 2 years. My cat is coming to join me too. But I'm still an impatient person by nature. So change is difficult, especially when you're in discomfort. And the key is knowing that when we are uncomfortable, we really want to move out of that state of being uncomfortable. And I'm actually going to share with you a story of a yoga class I was in. So I'll give you the short version. I was in a yoga class, and it was a new studio I was going to. I really wanted to, at the time, make a good impression on this new studio and this new teacher, because of things I was pursuing at the time. It was really important to me, and I really wanted to impress this teacher, right? So she was teaching a yin yoga class, which, if you do yoga, you might know it as the very gentle one. And while it was a gentle flow in terms of soft, slow movements, we were doing extremely intense stretching in very gentle poses. And so she puts us in a child's pose with the deepest hip stretch I think I have ever received, and it felt like she left us there for 2 hours. And literally, I'm feeling my hips are burning, right? They feel like they're gonna come off of my body. I actually had the thought, I wonder if I could be damaging my hips. I knew I wasn't, but the pain and discomfort was just so real for me because I've always had a lot of hip tension. And just as I went to sit up and be I'm not going to do this anymore, right? It's a yoga class. I can do whatever I want within reason. I don't have to do this pose. The teacher starts talking because she hadn't been talking. And all of a sudden she says that my cat keeps turning the camera. She says that our first reaction to discomfort is to move away from it. I was about to stand up, right? I wanted to move away from this pain I was in, this discomfort I was in. And she goes on to say, you don't have to choose to move away from it. You can take time to figure out what you would like to do, but it doesn't have to be that. And I was like, yeah, I guess there are other options that we don't really think about, right? Because that is our first reaction. And then she goes on to say, to blow my mind even more, she said, or you can just choose to do nothing and let it pass. And I was like, what? Because I was a very reactive person at this time in my life. Anything uncomfortable. I feel like I said that backwards. I don't know, maybe I didn't. Uncomfortable happened in my life, I was very reactive to it, right? Because I just wanted to get out of the uncomfortable situation. So I took this into my life, where I started taking time to realize that I don't have to react right away. I can really think about things. I can let myself start to feel different, right? You know, you sleep on something, you might feel different the next day. And so I started to practice this, choosing something else. And then once I really came into a good place with this, I started to choose to do nothing and just let things pass. Now, obviously, some situations, they require you to do something, but I think most situations, technically, almost nothing actually requires us to react. We just don't want the consequences of not reacting, right? So there's that. But this whole thing is to say that our reactions when we're uncomfortable are a choice. And that while we are in this state of discomfort, our brain is going to go with the first thing it knows how to do. And if you are watching this video, there is a very good chance that you are trying to create big, healthy, positive change in your life, right? Like, so we probably don't want to be doing the first thing our brain says, because we're trying to go from like survival mode to thrive mode, right? We're trying to go from reacting to the way things used to be to being in a healthier way and not needing to defend against these unhealthy situations or old dynamics that we used to participate in, right? So we want to choose something different. Alex, I thought this was about persisting. What does this have to do with it? It's all coming together. If you want to create change, you have to make new choices. And you have to make them in the moment when you would normally choose something else. Your brain is programmed one way. And until you change that programming, it's going to be that one way. So this is why persistence is key. Because just because you haven't seen change yet doesn't mean that you never will. Change shows up when it shows up. It doesn't gradually come in, it's just there. It might be there just a little bit, but it's there. And it wasn't there yesterday. Or you didn't observe it, so it wasn't really there, you know? If you're not observing it, does it really count? So when you're trying to manifest something new and you want to have this like very new way of being and a new reality, you want to attract in more positive things into your experience, you are going to have to create a routine to transform the way that your subconscious brain is creating your reality. Because if we know that our subconscious mind is creating our reality and our conscious mind is also contributing to that in a very small way, not in a small way, but it's only a small part of that, then it's not going to really be something you can see until your 3D reality just starts reflecting it. So routine is important. That's why like having affirmations that you say in the morning or in the night, you know, are important. That's why I say like every time you're in front of the mirror, know that that's time for you to get at least 3 affirmations out. Get at least 3. When you wake up in the morning and you're brushing your teeth, say them in your head or out loud while you're washing your face. I mean, you can't say them out loud while you're brushing your teeth. That's not the best way to do that. When you're in front of the mirror, say them out loud. Takes like 10 seconds, right? And I'm sure you can find something else to be doing so you're not wasting those 10 seconds if you're anything like me and you're like, I have to do 25 things at once. Here's another personal story of why the personal story that I want to share with you guys of why persistence is so key. So I'm personally working on, you know, like some big changes in my life, and it's really easy for me to get into that state because I believe Neville Goddard said something about like it's not about being in the state all the time. It's about going back and visiting it as many times as you can until it obviously just becomes a state. So it's almost like a backwards thing, but not really. He's saying like don't stress. Just keep visiting it until it integrates. So you want to keep visiting the state as much as you can. What I have observed in my own life, in my own reality, in my experience, is that when it's during the daytime, like afternoon, like I'm up and moving, when my conscious mind is in control, it's very easy for me to get into the state, my desired reality. When I'm about to go to sleep, it's very easy for me to get into that state. When I wake up, I do not feel like I'm in that state. And oftentimes that's when a lot of my old state will surface and I just won't feel as good. You know, like there's nothing consciously saying, oh no, like worry about this thing, or oh, we don't have this, but I don't feel the way that I want to be feeling. And so I take a few minutes as I'm waking up to try and get myself back into that state. But it's like every morning I've been like, I have to do this every time, right? And I just didn't get discouraged. I didn't think too much of it. I just, okay, I'm not in the state. Let me change that and set my day. And sometimes I couldn't fully get in it, and I would be like, I'll work on it on my way to work. While I'm in my car, I'll work on it throughout the day. But I kept working to go back to the state. And then once I would get there, I'd hang out there for like a minute or two, unless it's longer, like as you feel called. And then I'd go, back to what I'm doing with my day. Today, I woke up feeling like I was maybe not fully in the state, but a lot closer. Things were different this morning, and it wasn't just a fluke thing. I could tell something in my subconscious had shifted. So this is why I really want to emphasize persistence. I personally have been ignoring everyone that says, like, persistence is key. It will manifest, and I, believe them objectively. But a part of me worries. A part of my subconscious mind worries that some things just aren't for me, or because of whatever limiting belief, maybe the rules apply a little differently to me. And I have complex thoughts on our soul's purpose here and how that does affect what we can truly manifest in terms of what is in alignment with our highest good. But anyway, persistence really is key, because it's creating a new routine, and you will not see change until you just do. And I feel like I talked about this in my last video, that you will not see change until you just see it. And sometimes it feels, there have been whole years and years of my life where I've been in some not so great places, to put it very lightly. And I had hope that things could change. I had no idea what better was, but I just had a tiny ounce of faith that better was out there, and if I put one foot in front of the other, eventually I would get there. And it felt like being in a tunnel and not even being able to see the light at the end, but that if I kept walking in one direction, that one day maybe the light would show up. And it did. And then one day I was out of the tunnel, and then one day I totally forgot about the tunnel. I didn't even remember that I had been in that tunnel. So having that faith in yourself and creating that routine, and when your 3D circumstances are triggering you, taking it back to focusing on you, not focusing on those external triggers, not focusing on the lack of what's missing, of the thing not showing up yet, focusing on yourself. And really getting comfortable where you are, because I don't know, I feel like there's a quote here and I can't quite remember it, but you're supposed to be in alignment with your manifestation when you no longer truly desire it. But it's not just that you no longer truly desire it, it's that you can feel the way that thing makes you feel without needing it, without needing to have that. If somebody texts you every day and it lights up your day, have that feeling. Find a way in your life to give yourself those feelings without needing a text message. And then that's when you come into alignment of abundance of those text messages, right? So yeah, just to elaborate a little bit further, it's not just being like, well, I don't necessarily need that anymore, and totally releasing the desire. It's really getting in touch with the way that thing makes you feel, and improving your life, your self-care, your experience in a way that makes you feel that same way without needing it. And then that is how you come into alignment with something that is going to be more sustainable and long-lasting, because you have built the foundation for it. That's not to say that you can't attract those things, but this is the way that you build a stable foundation, and then fear doesn't really break through it as much, because it has become such a part of your being that it's not as shakeable. I think I'm going to leave it there. Yeah, that's it for today. So as always, feel free to like this video and drop a comment. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. What's going on in your manifestation world? What topics can I expand upon? What specific thing? What type of advice would you like to hear? Let me know. I'll make the video. If you're interested in coaching, intuitive readings, energy healing, I have a wide variety of options now available in my store or on my Instagram, my website. Everything will be down in the description box, but I do have a range of affordable options depending on what you're looking for. And I also have a Patreon where I post bonus content. I do intuitive readings for the start of every month. I do a live class once a month, and I do weekly podcast updates every week. So if that's anything you're interested in, check it out down below, and I will see you in the next video.